I have three of the coolest people here on planet Earth who are going to be welcoming you guys down south to El Salvador for adopting Bitcoin November 15th and 16th. This is Kemal, Kiki, and Shala. Welcome, you guys. It's so good to see you. Oh, so much FOMO. I want to like fly myself down there in a month and come visit and have some fun. How's everybody doing? This is so cool. And I'm so glad to get to talk to y'all because you guys have some new things coming up for adopting Bitcoin this year. So, who I want to, Kamal, let's have you go first because you've been bringing me to adopting for the last couple of years. Unfortunately, this year I'm not able to come down. So I'm going to miss you, brother. But yeah, why don't you let
Yeah.
everybody know who you are and what's up?
Yeah, thanks for having us, Valerie. It's really sad. You've been there for the past 2 years and always been this, you know, temple of good vibes radiating all over the place to everybody. So
Thank
you
you.
will be dearly missed. But nevertheless, we're on a mission, right? And we have a whole country that has adopted Bitcoin as legal tender. And and it's the third year. We're already doing the fourth adopting
So
bit.
cool.
So my name is Kemal. I'm one of the co-organizers since the beginning, and yeah, usually I work at Galloy and on Blink, which is a Bitcoin Lightning wallet for mobile phones that almost anybody can use. I mean, Americans can't use it. Because regulatory requirements. So we have to be compliant as a custodial service. But yeah, it's a wallet that everybody uses, and it's pretty cool because it onboards a lot of people, and it's the wallet that the people in Bitcoin Beach, it was formerly known as Bitcoin Beach Wallet, used to get their Bitcoin circular economy project basically started, and which ultimately then inspired the president Nayib Bukele to actually adopt this magic internet money for all 7 million Salvadorans. So yeah, that's what I do when I don't work on adopting Bitcoin, and I'm based in Istanbul, father, husband, and yeah, I'm looking forward to go back to Bitcoin country again to see lots of really cool Bitcoiners and talks and sessions and workshops and everything that you know from adopting Bitcoin.
I know you're a rock star, Kamal. You've put such a great event together and it keeps growing and gathering all of these wonderful humans. So, Kiki, why don't you go next?
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. I'm Kiki. I grew up in the Toronto area in Canada. My whole professional background is like all in restaurants, probably pretty fiat, like high time preference activities. Um, and, during 2020, my partner, who's from Australia, his visa was coming up, and we were like, we can't stay here anymore. I kind of lost my direction of my career. And we actually went to Mexico first. We spent 6 months in Oaxaca, Mexico. It was beautiful, like amazing place to visit, but we did not find any like-minded people. We didn't find any Bitcoiners. And it wasn't until I moved to El Salvador in April 2.5 years ago that I finally met another Bitcoiner other than my boyfriend for the first time. That was pretty exciting. Tried
You're
to,
real.
they're real, I swear, Mom. Tried to, figure out what I was going to do with my life. I was working online. Started doing some community activities with Hope House and Bitcoin Beach. Went to my first ever Bitcoin conference. It was Adopting Bitcoin 2022. I remember sitting there like being like, wow, this is so cool. I don't know anyone. Like, I'm pretty new to the space. Like, I wonder where this will take me, and fast forward now to 2 years later. And my partner and I are running the Bitcoin Farmers Market. We do it twice a month, in El Zonte, and once a month in Berlin, Usulután. He also owns and operates Beef Back Better, which is a local Salvadoran grass-fed beef business. So we haven't strayed too far from our roots, but trying to find, like the sound food to accompany the sound money aspect. And now being a part of the Adopting Bitcoin project has been incredible. A lot of work, but like the best kind of work, and we get to meet some amazing people. And yeah, I'm excited to get it all together and make it happen in 1 month.
It's going to be so good. I'm so glad. You're so lucky to be there. um, awesome. Okay, Shala, you're next.
Yeah, thank you as well for having me, for having us here.
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so I guess maybe some of you might know me from Bitcoin Film Fest, because this is one of the projects that my heart is beating, or for which and with which my heart is beating. But this year I also started my own project, or my private hobby project, which is focused on kids, families. It's called Bitcoin Junior Club. It's mostly about Bitcoin education, financial freedom. But I would say, and this is what I strongly believe in, if we don't think for ourselves, so if we don't help the young generations to cherish like critical thinking skills, creativity, even Bitcoin is not going to help them, because they will not be able to understand its full potential. So this project is not 100% about Bitcoin, though it's Bitcoin only, but also about all stuff creative. Yeah, it's also serving as some kind of hub or platform to promote other family-oriented projects. So yeah, I was lucky, I can say, enough to connect with Kiki, to connect with Adopting Bitcoin, offering my help with this year's edition, and we will be running a super exciting, super cool space called Bitcoin para Niños this year that will be free for all the attendees. But yeah, probably I can talk about it, or we can talk about it a little bit like later. And yes, I'm an active user of Blink Wallet. I love it. I've learned about it at Lugano's conference a couple of years ago. So I super yeah, I support it. It's awesome. Yeah, good.
I love it. I want to get to Blink in just a second, because I know you guys just got your Shopify integration going, which is going to be monster.
WooCommerce.
Yeah, or WooCommerce. Sorry, it's not. Are you in Shopify yet? Are you going to be in Shopify soon?
Indirectly through
Okay.
BTC Pay Server,
Okay,
but
through BTC Pay. Okay,
there is a bounty out for Shopify integration as well.
cool.
So somebody can earn 2.5 million sats if they pick it up and
Oh, whoa,
do
that
it.
would be amazing, dude. Oh my gosh. I know it's like trying to orange pill all these different people from different angles of like what they're already using Bitcoin for. So it's like most people, unfortunately, aren't going to show up at a Bitcoin conference, right? And so we have to bring Bitcoin to them through all these different ways, whether we're doing a podcast, a virtual summit, whether, we're doing videos, whether we're creating, obviously, content that is relevant for people. But Kiki, I want to come back to you. We're going to keep circling around here, guys. But what, the idea of, you not knowing anybody, you went to your first Bitcoin conference in El Salvador, of all places, right? What was that like? I mean, I know I went to my first Bitcoin conference in Miami a few years back, and I didn't know anybody, but I had talked to a few people online, and I met Svetsky online, and he's like, you got to go to Natalie's woman's thing and all this stuff. And so it was just like this little nudging of people trying to be supportive, but it still was like, uh, so what was it like? I mean, knowing that, like, wow, there's thousands of people, hundreds, thousands of humans out there that are just rocking and rolling and doing this big mission.
Yeah, it was definitely vindicating. I think I
Yeah.
had lived the whole experience through Twitter essentially for over a year at that point, and so to actually have it like physically in person was incredible. It was, I mean, to be honest, it was a little intimidating.
Yeah.
One of the things that I remember very vividly is I went and got a coffee from Chorito, and it had the little Adopting Bitcoin logo on it. And I took a photo and I opened up my Instagram and went to go post it on my Instagram. And then I thought, nobody that I'm connected to on Instagram is into Bitcoin. Nobody is going to know what this is. I thought, should I even post this? Does this make me not a Bitcoiner for posting this on Instagram? And I ended up posting it, and somebody actually was like, oh, you're at a Bitcoin conference. That's so cool. We started chatting about it, whatever. But the interesting thing that I found was the growth from the first time I went to the second time I went. For me personally, and also just the growth or the difference in the type of people that were there, the amount of people that were there. I noticed last year, for instance, there was a lot more women there. There was a lot more like younger kids there as well. And so it's cool to see the contrast and see where it's come. I wasn't there in the first year, but to see from the second year now until what we're going to be seeing in a few weeks. And for anybody who's nervous about it, whether it's about El Salvador or about Bitcoin conferences, I know that Bitcoin Twitter can be a little hectic sometimes, but honestly, when you meet Bitcoiners in person, it's just like kindred spirits. You might not have everything 100% in common, but you have like the most important common ground there, and people are super welcoming and super friendly, and you find your group, your tribe pretty quickly. So
Yeah, and I think the safety issue was something I was, concerned about the first year I went down too, because I was going by myself. I did end up, rooming with somebody, which was cool, but it was still that like, am I going to get kidnapped? Is everything going to be okay? Obviously, you heard all the, these old stories about how El Salvador used to be before President Bukele came in, and so as just a human, not even just a woman, it was like, whoa, is this okay? And of course, all the people in my life were like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm going to a Bitcoin conference. See you later. It's going to be great. It's a revolution. We're building a new world. And this is like ground zero, and it felt right. And sometimes you've got to get out of, I mean, not sometimes, you must get out of your comfort zone in order to grow and to change. Like you don't get to live in the comfort zone and then think you're going to change the world or change yourself. And so, making that leap is really important, and obviously doing it mindfully and making sure that you're not just like, I'm just going to throw caution to the wind. You want to be intelligent, but I know I felt very safe walking around both El Zonte and San Salvador. I didn't feel like, something's going to happen, and that's something I really want listeners to understand. It's like, this is the safest country in Latin America right now because of President Bukele and what he's
It's
done.
crazy.
And it's insane, and so I can't say the same about my country. I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe down in my little town. I don't feel safe certainly in a big city here, that's for sure. So I feel like we've got a lot of opportunities to learn and grow and take pages out of other playbooks around the world. And I think that's the mentality of Bitcoiners. We're open source. We want to have everybody kind of like best practices and share. So I think that's really, really cool. Shala, I want to talk to you about the Kids Zone. When I went there a couple years ago, I got to see Samantha DeWall speak, and she blew my brains out with her genius and her intelligence. And she got to speak again last year. I was just like, what? How are kids this smart that are, I think she might have been 11 or 12 at the time, the first year. And I'm just like, whoa, this is the coolest thing ever. Let's talk about like what you guys are going to be doing, obviously with the Kids Zone and the Bitcoin Junior Club and everything. I know you and Kiki are working on that a lot. And I think it's so, so important. And I had brought this up because it's like, as a mom or as anybody, when you go away to a conference, if you have to leave your family behind, there could be some resentment that gets built up, right? And so, a family that Bitcoins together, a family that learns together and grows together, stays together, and then now you've got another layer of common ground as a unit. And so I want to hear about what you guys have got going on to, do some family skills and family development and letting the kids have their fun. This is going to be cool.
Yeah, kids, teens, and I can also say mentors, because there will be some parts of the program that probably we'll talk about in a couple of minutes, but some parts of the program that are also designed to not only engaging for teenagers, but also for teachers, parents, aunties, uncles. But yeah, to what you said, and just to refer once again to Samantha, I think it was Adopting Bitcoin where for the very first time she was publicly speaking, and then she joined a couple of other conferences. So unbelievable girl. I know her in person. We've met a couple of times. So yeah, huge hug, Samantha, to you, if you will listen to it or watch it later on. So regarding the Bitcoin para niños, so this is the entire space that, thanks to Kiki and a couple of other projects that are helping us as well, that will be available for like 2 days of the conference. So it's an open outdoor space. So we will have program designed in a way that there are some leisure activities, but also like fun and learning. Both in Spanish and English, because we can, we have to target like two to language groups here. And as I said, it's like for kids, teens, but also mentors. So we will have different fun games, quizzes, also some cool prizes to win, some giveaways. But everything will be done in a way that even if kids are around, they will be hopefully engaged, and like happy to be around to participate. Even if there are like panels, and then mostly they are with older guests. We will try to engage with kids as well, because at the end of the day, this should be an experience for them to learn, to trigger their brain, to maybe start questioning things. Because as I mentioned, Bitcoin Junior Club, at least from my perspective, its purpose is not only like, this is what we have tendency as adults to do. Like, we want to teach kids our own way. We want to teach them and present to them everything we believe it's correct, but they have, and I think, for example, Samantha is talking about it a lot, they can choose on their own. So let's prepare everything in a way that is engaging and fun for them. But if they want to do something else in between, the entire space will be designed this way. And I think this is kind of like a new trend, so to say. Like, I'm super happy that Adopting Bitcoin is organizing it, making it happen, because it's a new thing. A couple of years ago, when I for the first time started joining conferences, there was mostly men, first of all, and no problem, but it was kind of like dry and completely different energy. Then sometimes there were like single parents bringing kids, but mostly struggling with what to do with a kid. And now we see whole new generation. I can call it like sovereign generation. So many different age groups, coming. Some of them, they are already Bitcoiners because they are coming from big like orange pill families. Some of them are bringing their friends. Some of them are becoming Bitcoiners later on. Like, before they were like Bitcoin neutral, but their parents are Bitcoiners, and then they came to conferences. They make friendships. So it's all about like connecting, exploring, learning about yourself, others. So this whole space is a lot of work, but I'm sure we are going to deliver an exceptional experience for everyone. So,
and that's what it's about. It's about the experience. And you of course, you nailed it. Obviously, as educators, we all understand there's different, not only adult learning types, but there's different things that are developmentally appropriate for kids as they grow, on their journey. And so, you're not going to bring an 11-year-old necessarily. I mean, Samantha's an exception. Her brain is out here, but to sit in boring talks with adults and expect them to get excited and learn, like, there's different ways. And so I love that you guys are doing this and making it fun and accessible. And this keeps the families hopefully more together, because some people might be like, well, I can't go to the conferences now because I need to stay home with my kids. So it's like, well, let's bring your kids, So
and here,
great.
like, one more maybe reason why to come and why it can attract more people, even like locals. Anyway, like, you can enter this space for free if you are having a ticket to the conference. So you don't pay anything extra. So why not? Like, why not to just come even for an hour or two the first day? If you like it, you can come the other day. I mean, why not? it's a cool extra. So
It is. And there's so much to do too in El Salvador. It's not just like, okay, I'm in the city or I'm at the beach. I mean, going into the mountains is exceptionally beautiful. I didn't get to make it up to Berlin, which is, that was one of my bucket list things to do, but I didn't get to go last time. So, we'll talk about Berlin in just a second, Kiki, and because I want to talk about the farmers market and I want to talk about the events too. But thank you, Sela. Okay, Kemal, you've been at this for a minute, my friend. Like, what's changed for you over the last few years with, how you see people coming together? Are you seeing more traction with people getting their projects going, that are, businesses starting to come to El Salvador, and people are starting to say, I mean, Kiki's obviously there, right? People have been like, okay, I'm going to come here. I'm going to live. I want to move. I want to get my groove on. How's it been coming for people? How's it been going for people coming from out of the country? And then how is it for, folks in the country with adoption? Like, I want to talk about those two questions.
I mean, we touched on already a couple of the changes. In the first year in 2021, it was, very dedicated people, Bitcoiners, but not necessarily with their families or their wives or their children even, like, no. At that time, something like that, it was already courageous to, during COVID, with all these travel restrictions, and, before the state of exception that basically made the country secure, to go there it was, you had to be very special breed of adventurous Bitcoiner and a lot of enthusiasm, and also situational awareness to understand, the magnitude of what's happening there. And, there were a lot of haters and people talking bad about this and basically trying to say that this is not going anywhere. And they've all been proven wrong. I mean, and like spectacularly proven wrong, right? Like, let's not forget that there were so many haters, and especially in the bear market, making fun. Oh, you're all down. How's your investment going? How's your trade going, Nayib Bukele and stuff? Let's not forget that. So all these people are now silent, and the country is secure. Like Kiki and Shalala noticed, the rate of women at adopting Bitcoin has shot up 22, 23. Like, we're at almost parity. It's
Wow.
really like, except it's remarkable if you look at Bitcoin conferences how high the rate of women is. Also, the amount of children and families. I mean, it's not for just because we wish to. No, there's real families coming. Like, we do this because there's a need,
Yeah.
right? Like, there are children coming to adopting Bitcoin. And so I'm super, super grateful that Shalale is, with the BTC Junior Club, is coming on and, creating this place for, the youngest and our future, to continue what we're doing here. And they have to be, yeah, they have to learn somewhere. They have to start somewhere, and doing it at adopting Bitcoin in Bitcoin country, there's nothing better than that. Like, I was there with my kids last year, for 6 weeks. I brought them. They were 4 and 2. um, I mean, it was the fourth Bitcoin conference of my son, right? He's only 4. So, okay, the first one, he was still in the womb of my wife. But
So 5. It counts. Yeah.
okay, so, but it's just really a super family friendly place. And it's also like aligns with where we're at, in Bitcoin. And if you look out and zoom out, we had the nerds and the libertarians and stuff. We had the early adopters, innovators. Now we're, expanding. We're crossing the chasm, right, to the early majority of
Hmm.
adoption cycles. This is the adoption cycle. There was a BlackRock study that even said that, the Bitcoin adoption is going faster than the internet adoption. We're only 15 years young,
Mhm.
and look where we are. It's insane. And a lot of people like perceive that everything takes time and it's slow and stuff, but it's going so fast. And especially if you look at El Salvador, and I've been, in the first year we didn't have Bitcoin companies that were Salvadoran. We were the first Bitcoin company with Bitcoin Beach Wallet,
Yeah.
and there was no other really on the ground. Well, there were, maybe IBEX was there as well, and that was basically it in the first year. And now look at, our expo hall. It's 80% is Salvadorian Bitcoin companies, and that was also already last year, but it's been gradually, improving and going up. And there are just also the satellite events, all the Bitcoiners and events and that have established themselves, like the BTC Farmers Market, but also the circular economies that have now popped up outside of El Zonte. Like in Berlin, we've talked about it. There's another one, in Santa Ana currently, and also in San Miguel. So, it's happening, and it's only 3 years. And of course, and it's going into, if you take away like this crazy idea that just because the president said you should use Bitcoin, everybody will use Bitcoin. It takes some time for people to get accustomed to it, to see, okay, wow, this thing is still around, and the technology has been improving in the meantime, and the education has been being translated. not only from English to Spanish, but also from Spanish to English. I mean, Mi Primer Bitcoin is also, like happening in the ground. It's a Salvadoran project that is now impacting Bitcoin adoption globally because it's created the education's Bitcoin standard, basically, that is now being translated and proliferated in many, many languages with the Bitcoin diploma. So it's beautiful. I couldn't be happier being in this seat where I see so many of these things and get to know so many of these people, amazing people. You've seen it yourself, Valerie. Like, it's a special kind of people, that come to adopting Bitcoin, and then they go home and spread that in their communities, and yeah, everything is going according to plan, and I couldn't be more excited to be part of this.
Yeah, I so appreciate all of your effort and your wonderful high vibes, Kamal. Like it is like when you come to these events, it's like a family reunion, and if you are new to them, you get to be welcomed into the family. It's not a cult, I swear, um, but it's like I feel like I'm going to be friends with you guys forever. Because we're on this lifelong mission. And when you meet each other and when we're doing stuff and having fun, and oh, you just ran into someone and you grab a cup of coffee, or oh, let's go share an Uber, or let's walk over here. We're going to the next thing. And then all of a sudden you drop in and you're sitting on a bus with somebody, and then you realize you have all this other stuff in common. It's just like that doesn't happen in the digital world. And there's a trust issue in the digital world. And as much as we think like, oh, cool, no, you can see my profile, I'm a good person. No, you need to be skinned in each other's energy fields as human beings, and magic happens in those places, and so I think unfortunately a lot of people, especially right now, have us versus them vibes going on in the world, and it's really sad for me to see this, whether it's political, whether it's money, whether it's Bitcoin and shitcoin. It's like the reality is we need to focus our energy on unifying love and unifying our hearts together, and by doing these kinds of events, it's like exponentially growing that opportunity for us to be humans again. And I think COVID did a number on many, many of us, all of us basically on the planet, and created these sense of mistrust, and it takes time to kind of build that back. And so being able to be in person with each other is one extraordinarily healing way. And so I think in addition to the education, it's very healing to come to these conferences and to these events and meetups and being in person and realizing like there's actually hope. There's hope for humanity. And look, you guys are legit. Woohoo, and I know I always say Bitcoin is hope in action, and it's so important for us to really give ourselves as many doses of that as possible. Kiki, I would love to hear a little bit more about the farmers markets and the circular economies up in Berlin and obviously Alzante. Kemal was mentioning that. For those listening, if you guys don't know what a circular economy is, maybe Kiki, you can give a little understanding for the crew.
Yeah,
listening.
absolutely. So just to start off with, it's amazing what Bitcoin Beach has done in Alzante. I spent 2.5 years living in Alzante, and got to spend some time volunteering with them. But it's also incredible to see how that's being kind of spreading out throughout the country. And it's also popping up in places you would not expect it, in the countryside, in small communities. There's an island called La Piraya, which is a bit of a journey to get to. But if you're here and you have extra time, I definitely recommend that you do. The idea is just like, okay, we have this tool available to us. Let's get everybody on board to using it. I'm going to, maybe I'm the one earning an online job in Bitcoin, or I'm earning in fiat. I'm changing that into Bitcoin. But when I go into my community, I'm going to spend my Bitcoin at the vendors who will accept it. From there, then they can go and either pay their suppliers or pay for their needs in life, whether that's business related or their rent or their water or what have you. And to keep the circulation flowing, it's especially interesting being in a country, and maybe one of the reasons it has become successful in this way is because we're in a country where they don't hold their own currency. They're on the US dollar, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of what's going on across El Salvador as a whole, it's really exciting. I was actually having a conversation the other day, and there was a study that was released recently, and it said only 7.5% of Salvadorans responded to a poll saying that they actively used Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
And someone, put that into a group that I was in and said, "Oh, this is really disappointing. Like, I thought it would be more, et cetera, et cetera." But what I kind of explained was, I think it's happening in places where we kind of least expect it. Like, I was just told about a new kind of like a startup hub / cafe that has opened in Santa Ana by a team of people who have been going to some of the Santa Ana Bitcoin meetups. And Santa Ana is technically, I think, one of the top 5 biggest cities in El Salvador, but it's not huge necessarily. There's not a ton of people, and it's kind of far away. Like, it's kind of out of the way. If you're a tourist, you're going to go there for the volcano, to hike the volcano, and that's kind of it most of the time. Maybe stop for lunch, but it's a whole city and economy, and it's got an amazing history in and of itself. And to see them kind of take a grassroots approach, to kind of take what they've been doing in Berlin and start something up themselves and feel ownership and pride over that is really incredible. I think a lot of that started with the influence of the Berlin group. So in Usulután, which is about 2.5 hours from San Salvador, 3.5 from El Zonte into the mountains, Bitcoin Berlin, they have, I think, over 150 merchants onboarded.
Wow.
Using Bitcoin now. And like, it's an even smaller place, like very, very tiny, but everywhere you go, whatever you're looking for, you will either be able to pay in Bitcoin, or you will have access to someone who will help you discuss it with the vendor. And people, every time I go there, there's more people accepting it. And again, that's like very grassroots effort. It's a couple of locals and a couple of expats who are just kind of on the same mission and ready to learn and further their own development, but also support their communities and build a community. And it's been, amazing to see what's been going on. We have a few of the representatives from these different areas that are going to be at the conference as well, presenting both in English and Spanish, which I think, to double down, is incredible for some of the Salvadorans that are living in the city and maybe are curious about what's going on. They don't know a whole lot about Bitcoin yet. They haven't taken the time, but for them to see, Berlin making headlines because of this, or Santa Ana or San Miguel, it's just the network effect.
Yeah, big time. And what are you seeing, Kiki, with the transformational vibes or the energy of the people who are living in these communities? Do you feel like there's a different sense of purpose, sense of hope, sense of community, sense of possibility?
Certainly. Yeah, I think that's one of the things people always say when they come to El Salvador. You can feel that a weight has been kind of lifted because of the security situation, and that people feel that they have a little bit more hope and opportunity in their lives. I would be lying if I said everything was perfect, right? Like, this is still a country, perfect. There's still politics involved, but it is truly like one of the most amazing feelings to feel that sense of hope, whether it is, an abuela selling you like a Coke and tamales at the corner store, or you're going to something a little bit more fancy. Like, one of the interesting things from my perspective is there's a bunch of new like high-end luxury restaurants and hotels that are opening up across the country. These things never, maybe they existed a while back, or they existed in a very, very small capacity. But the idea that people are taking their capital and investing in these sorts of things, I think is like really a bullish sign. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's super bullish, and it's super exciting because you think I understand tourism and travel and, people coming to visit. Those numbers have, blossomed quite a bit since Bitcoin became legal tender, and obviously since it's safer. So of course it's not going to feel, as an investor, very comfortable investing in a country or a place that doesn't have sound money and doesn't have sound, security. And so now they've got both. And so I think it's neat to see this influx of new ideas and people who are fed up with the system where they live. I mean, it keeps getting more and more. There's no perfect system, period. There's no such thing. We're always striving towards a better existence as humans on Earth. But, some of them keep crumbling and crumbling. And I love to see that, cool, where can we go and have this freedom to build? where it's not shunned, but it's actually supported, from the community and from the powers that be. So I think that's a really huge testament to people who are out there and feeling like, nothing's ever going to get better. Yes, it is. It definitely is. It is because you make it better. And it is because you find other people who are also on a mission to make it better. And that's what I love about you guys. So,
and I would
go ahead,
also
Kiki.
say, Val, sorry to interrupt you. I would also say, like, it's not just about the luxury aspect at all. There's plenty of other aspects as well. But I would, to further your point, it's also about the time preference that you have, right? When you do have a low time preference and you're able to understand that by interacting with Bitcoin, you are investing in your own future and the future of your communities. El Salvador is like showing proof of that happening. For example, there's 3 sisters that were part of the leaders team for Bitcoin Beach and Hope House. And just about 6 months ago, I would say, they opened a hostel in El Zonte called Hostel Mayara. They accept Bitcoin for their stays, and they were able to save their money. They work in the medical field. They have a really interesting background and story, but they were able to save their money that they have been earning in Bitcoin and open up this hostel. And this is now another, avenue of income for them to further their lives, to meet new people. They're providing housing for Bitcoiners when they come to stay. Like, it compounds,
It's amazing. It's called Hostel Mayara.
Yes.
Okay, I'll make sure that goes in the show notes. This is so inspirational. I love it, and I love the entrepreneurial spirit that gets activated in people too. And because it's like, oh, I can go do this, and then you make it happen. Like, I love entrepreneurs and creators. It's such a good vibe for sure. Shela, you are a multifaceted woman with the Bitcoin Film Fest, with your art and with your clothing lines and with the stuff you're doing with the kids. Like, how do you feel like the culture of art, music, film, and everything is impacting Bitcoin? And how do you see it, moving forward down there in El Salvador? This is going to be a fun.
Yeah, actually, I'm very excited to go there because it's really like the country that adopted it, and it's growing finally thanks to it. So it was one of the countries that was always bullied, and then looking what's happening all around in the Western Hemisphere, or I can mostly speak from Europe. Like, yeah, it's like a old ship droning, and then in Salvador is just like growing and flourishing, and it's like a blueprint for everyone, just not only to prove that it's possible, but it's also how to make some things. I mean, some other neighboring countries in Latam or in the Central America, they are also waking up, and it's even more exciting that we will be doing this space for kids so they can experience first time. So referring, for example, to Samantha, just one thing, she said in one of the interviews that she was so happy to join the stage in the Adopting Bitcoin, the first or second edition, I think, because the father mentioned that they are going there. And she said, hey, I never actually adopted Bitcoin. I was born into Bitcoin, but I never adopted it. So I would like to speak in there. So it's amazing that all these kids, like, hopefully the families will stay a couple of days before, and they will come before and then stay after, especially for the side events, but that all these kids, they can experience this firsthand, go and buy something, spending Bitcoin, because it's money at the end of the day. But to answer your question about culture, I would actually say that Bitcoin is helping, the same as it's helping the humanity, giving us hope, reminding us about love, about values, integrity, bringing us together. The same way it's helping culture. So fiat money, like the broken money, broken society, broken culture. It's also like a huge mafia, just to simplify it. Yesterday we were running a space with a couple of filmmakers like Alana, Max, also creator of the Indie Hub. Was cool thing where we were actually discussing where are the biggest blockers and limitations in the film industry. But it's not only film industry, it's art, it's everything that is surrounding us. And it's actually a vicious circle, because first of all, it's blocking you, so you are demotivated as a creator. Second, the outcome of any kind of sphere is rotten. It's spoiled, it's full of propaganda. And even if you have good intentions as creator, you cannot do that. First of all, you cannot make money, you have inflation and stuff. Second, you are restricted, or you know that you cannot even speak loud some ideas because they will never become reality. And then as a consumer, you are just absorbing the shallow trash, so to say, stuff. So your life is even more stressful, more miserable. So it's just very sad, you know. And kids are grown and born into this. Actually, many people gave up on having kids these days, right?
Yeah.
This is another very sad thing. So what we are doing now with adopting Bitcoin, this Bitcoin para niños, bringing maybe locals, bringing the entire families to visit El Salvador, experience this, yeah, amazing country, very small but so brave firsthand. Join this space, learn, make friendships, because kids and teens, they can also make great friends, maybe, you know, in there. What I'm trying to do with Bitcoin Junior Club as well, and all the other things that you mentioned, Valerie, thank you, is just to show people that yes, we can do that. We are building a parallel world that is better. Everyone is welcome. If you are just a freedom seeker, there is a space to come, to join, to keep us, like, to help us building these things. So, and to especially inspire younger generations that are the most prone to learn the bad patterns and to be, let's say, growing into very miserable adults. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's so important. I know. I don't know if you guys have read Seb Bunny's book, "The Hidden
Yes.
Cost of Money." It's so good, but really thinking about how the fiat system is tearing the families apart and creating these long-term mental health issues for the you know, for the adults and the kids. And it's really, you know, when people start to really take time to connect the dots and realize it's like it's not just this or that. I mean, it's when you're building the society on a foundation of toxic fiat soil, like only cancerous things can grow, you know? And so it's like we have this beautiful sound money now, and we have this opportunity to start thinking of regenerative money, regenerative families, regenerative societies, you know? And I know, Kiki, you've got Beef Back Better with grass-fed Salvadoran beef, you know? So I think what's neat is when people start to think about the interconnectivity in the system that we're in, it's like, it's so important to understand these things, because a lot of people will go and, you know, try to take pills and not learn skills and do all the stuff that is detrimental to themselves because they have the short-term mindset, you know. And so that's what's interesting about Bitcoin. You know, we're okay to be a little patient, you know. And so I think raising children's with that mindset and getting out of the instant gratification is going to be very, very healthy for the longevity of humanity on Earth. So it's just fascinating how the rabbit holes keep going in with the health and the wellness and the creativity and the art and the money and the family, everything. So Kemal, I want to ask you, I'm going to bring up the website right now, and I'm going to bring up some of the like, you've got so many speakers here, and I'd love for you to share, like, because I know this isn't like some, oh, we're making a whole bunch of money here doing this. I know how expensive it is to put these events on. Can you guys see the screen? Yeah, you can see the screen. So, I mean, the tickets, you guys have got tickets for people who are, you know, local Salvadorans that are very affordable, $21. You've got obviously some tickets prices going up for regular tickets, and then, you know, some VIP stuff. So I think that's so great. You guys have got the best sponsors. I love all of these guys. What's Bebop? I don't know Bebop.
Bebop is a really cool company from Switzerland. They are developing open source software. You can think of it a little bit like BTC Pay Server,
Okay.
but more for artists and creatives.
Oh, cool. Okay, I got to
So
check that
it's
out.
very easy to set up, and the customization is really cool. You can make your shop. You know, it doesn't just work technically like Space Server, but it also has this component where you really can, you know, host it yourself and style it really beautifully. So I'm really curious to see those workshops from Lionel and his team of Bebop. Um,
Amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be so cool. And then check out all your speakers, guys. Like, you've got a presidential candidate, Maya. She came on the show. I got to have her on a few months back. I mean, you guys have got some seriously hard hitters here. Max and Stacy, of course. Tone, everybody, Nick, Giacomo. Yay, Efrat's going to be there. Dusan. Oh my God, Dusan. See, okay, here's an example of why you have to go to the conferences, guys. I remember we were at the speakers dinner, and Dusan and I were waiting, you know, because there's like the restroom, whatever, and we're just like waiting in line and just had the best connection. I'm like, I love this dude. He's so cool, and just really
He's
having.
great.
He is. He's such a just yum,
Yeah, and
right?
Ami
Like
TH is also doing many great things in their native country, like in Honduras. What they are doing, it's also incredible.
it's so cool. And again, that's another, example of building in the circular economy vibes. I mean, look at all these guys. You've got uh, Svetsky, Luke, Dennis. Oh my God, Alejandra, Miss Bitcoin. Oh my God, she's the best. Andre's coming. I have so much FOMO. I want to come and hug all of you guys. This is, you guys, seriously, whoever's watching this, if you're ever thinking you want to go to El Salvador, you must go. It's just going to change your life. It is so, oh, look at all these wonderful humans. There's Samantha. Oh my gosh. She's the best. You guys, seriously, I'm going to miss you guys so much. I'm going to
So
cry.
you see why you are showing. We will be missing you as well, but I'm sure we will feel your energy, and we will be sending you photos. But
Oh,
you were showing Samantha. So actually, there are a couple of. So we will have not only at the Bitcoin para Niños, not only panels with adults, but especially because the program is designed for kids. There
yeah.
will be also like software panels where kids and teenagers can join. So Samantha is one of them, but there will be also other awesome teams sharing their experiences. Like one of the panels is called like taking orange pill. So how their life changed, like just talking life, normal, basic things, but in between trying to also express what and how they see this whole Bitcoin thing. And among many of these speakers, there are amazing educators and also teenagers or people, young adults who were just recently also orange pill. Like if you scroll, many of them like locals from Salvador as well. So it's incredible.
I think, and getting the perspective of the young people is a game changer because, we need to know, like, what are they thinking about? And I remember when Samantha was on my show after I had met her, because I was like, oh my gosh, I would love to learn more about you and interview you. And she, I was like, what can us adults do to support the younger generation? How can we be in service? Because we've obviously made kind of a giant mess of everything. Um, and what can we do? And it was just like, let us have the mic, let us talk, listen to us. Like, we want you guys to hear us and let it, so I think, have giving them stages, giving them places to present, giving them places to gather is like, oh, it's such an important thing. This is so great. I'm just so glad you guys are doing the young zone, the youth zone. It's going to be great. And then let's talk about the side events. Like, I'll scroll through some of these, you guys, because I know we're running on time here, but this is going to be going, you said, like from the 10th to the 16th, and then the following weekend, there's going to be something in Berlin. So I'll let you guys just kind of share like what's going on. And I'll sort of slowly scroll here.
Kiki, you want to start? And
Yeah, no
I mean,
problem.
it's just so cool. Like, Meet Premier Bitcoin graduation, you guys. Like, that's such a cool thing to get. If you could get to go see these kids who are, studying and learning. You've got bit devs. Oh my gosh.
yeah, the BitDevs is almost 1 year old now. It's started by Nicola Berti. Every city should have their BitDevs, technical talks, getting together, Chatham House rules, talking like straight up Bitcoin technology. So San Salvador has that too now. It's been going on. And there's going to be a special one for adopting Bitcoin.
Great.
Super stoked. Yeah,
That's
great
amazing.
participants, very high, like Bitcoin core developers, amazing wizards and cryptologists that now have settled in El Salvador, because it's Bitcoin country. They go there and talk Bitcoin.
It's so cool. And like, and again, anybody listening, it's like there's something for everybody. It's not just like, oh, you have to be a cryptographer to go to a Bitcoin conference. No, you don't. Like, you can be an artist, you can be a creative, you can be a DJ, you can be a podcaster, you can be an entrepreneur, anything. And so that's super cool. So this is Sovereignty Studios. That's Mike Ruiz, right?
Exactly.
I've been following some of his stuff. He looks like he's doing great stuff down there. Ooh, Mujeres and Bitcoin. Who's doing this? Yay. Reina
Reina,
Chica.
of
Yay.
course.
Are you guys all
Our
doing that?
queen.
Oh, I want to go.
We need to
So
make like a
good.
cutout of you.
Oh my God. I know, totally. Not a blow up doll. That would be weird. And the unconference, you guys, tell everybody what the unconference is. That was one of my favorite things. And I got to go to one in Portugal and obviously one in El Salvador last year. Tell whoever wants to share what the unconference is.
I haven't had a chance to go. Kemal.
Yeah, I was at the one in Madeira. I haven't managed to go to the previous My First Bitcoin unconferences. We've had them in the last 2 years, I think. But basically, it's an unconference. An unconference is not scheduled. You go there, and then there's a general session in the beginning, and everybody just who has something to share with other Bitcoiners. They just propose that topic. Gets put on a card. They get scheduled on the spot, and and then people can choose to go to that session. Right? It's just made up on the spot, very spontaneous, organized chaos or unorganized. Unconference. It's great, and it's all education focused from
Yep.
people that are really thinking day and night about how to best explain Bitcoin to various audiences.
Yeah, it's a great experience too. I like that too because it's casual, but it's semi-organized. But it's like it's peer to peer, and it's everybody gets to choose. Like, oh, cool, we're gonna vote that this panel actually is going to happen. I think it's really, really a neat way to gather people together to talk and have a little consensus about what's the most exciting thing. Almost like what are those upvote things on? Is it on Reddit or what are those things where you upvote stuff? It's sort of like that. Okay, and then Dirty Coin. Oh my gosh, Alana, she's the bomb. I love this film. You guys have to check that out for sure. Of course, the speaker's dinner for everybody who's showing up. The after party. I'm gonna miss it. I will be there on the dance floor with you guys. If you see glow sticks, it might be me in the corner. But after you guys put on the best parties, and then Bitcoin Beach. Tell everybody about Bitcoin Beach in El Zonte.
Yeah, you go.
Yeah, go ahead. No, you live there. What should I say? I mean,
yeah, I mean they're ground zero, right? Like they've been hitting the ground really hard in terms of adoption, education, community building. From they had Surf Pair at Todos, like the young kids surfing program that we also spoke about Bitcoin in, and it was also educational and a good opportunity for local kids to connect and to learn and develop skills of all kinds. But then they've been partnering, whether it's with Me Premier Bitcoin or with the government on education across the country, right? So they've been monumental. And for the past couple of years, everybody has always enjoyed, myself included, going down to El Zonte for the kind of unofficial third day, if you will, of the conference. This year, I know that they've got a bunch of stuff planned. I think they're actually going to do a 2-day thing. I know they're planning on doing like a gastronomic festival. Usually there's a pupusa eating contest, which I would highly recommend you a visit or you get to experience because it's pretty interesting. Surf competitions, like enjoy the beach, enjoy getting to know Bitcoin Beach, the people that live there, the companies, that sort of thing. Yeah, looking forward to that one.
Yeah, it's so cool. I know we stayed an extra couple days and it's so worth it. Like, to go visit and cruise around and see what's happening with everybody. Oh, yay, there's everybody. It's such a cool vibe for sure. And then, okay, they're doing a Freedom Riders. What is that? They're doing a motorcycle tour for a week. Alan is a bomb. He's going to be doing that. Oh my gosh, how fun.
Pretty cool. I wish I rode a motorcycle.
I know.
For this.
That would be such a cool place to do it, like going near the volcanoes and the ocean. And oh my God, how cool. Okay, Freedom Convoy. What is this? San Salvador to El Zonte? Is this just everybody's like, is it motorcycle also again? Is that
I
what
believe
they're doing? Because if you rent a bike,
there's bikes involved. I think it's a genuine convoy.
A convoy. But you guys are all too young, but there's an old who was in it? Not Burt Reynolds. It's an old movie from the 70s, Convoy. And it was about truckers and stuff. It was so ridiculous. Oh my God, Luke. Yay. He's doing a Bitcoin boot camp. Luke's awesome. That's going to be so cool. Noster Day. Yeah, I heard. Oh, and Tanya. Yeah, she's going to be on the show next week. This is so cool. I love that Noster is going to be there. You guys are going to be learning, sharing what Noster is with everybody. How are people using Noster down there in El Salvador, Kiki?
To be honest, Not yet.
Not yet. Okay,
Not
cool.
yet.
Maybe Tanya and this whole traveling Noster booth will help.
Exactly.
So cool. And oh, yay, Roatan. Oh gosh. That's going to be amazing. You guys, this is so much stuff. I'm so impressed. Like this is like 10 times more than last year. Holy shit.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I feel like we keep getting messages like every couple of days. Hey, we're doing this. Like, can we add this? Or yeah, it's
Oh
great.
my gosh. And Bitcoin Lake in Guatemala, they're going to have a thing there too. So, wow, you guys, this is incredible. Like, I'm blown away. I'm just seriously blown away. Yeah, get yourself.
Sorry,
Sorry,
Val, I
go
should
ahead.
put a
Yeah.
little asterisk on my comment about Noster because on like a large scale, maybe as we see on the internet, is the adoption the same? Maybe not. But there is like a group, Illuminodes, who are working to bring Noster into El Salvador in any kind of way. There's a specific health protocol that's being introduced. There's going to be
Cool.
some talks about that and like owning your medical data. And so it's small, but it's mighty and it's growing.
I love it.
Yeah.
I remember when I went, not last year, but it was the first year, and there was it was like a lightning showcase for these kids. And oh gosh, Kemal, where was it? We all took, I don't remember if you were there, but we took these buses and we went to this place, and it was at a school, and they had like this fair, and they wanted all of us to judge the kids in their lightning projects. And there was something about medical information or getting your prescriptions using lightning. And it's so neat to see these kids building on lightning 2 years ago even, and I'm just like, holy cow, I keep waiting to just more things are going to keep blossoming here. So I want to make sure everybody knows where to find you guys and how to get a hold of you. I'm going to this is going to be a whole bunch of stuff on the screen, guys. So if you're listening, you're not going to see it, but I'll have everything in the show notes, and you can find everything, of course, on YouTube and my channel. But okay, so what's beef back better? Tell everybody, Kiki, really quick, what's beef back better?
100% Salvadoran, grass-fed, pastured beef. These are the happiest cows I've ever seen in my whole life. And it is distributed directly to your door or through a few stores in San Salvador.
Beautiful. And obviously adopting Bitcoin, you can go to adoptingbitcoin.org. You can use DJ Val and get 10% off your tickets. The tickets are going up November 1st. So go get your tickets, guys. And all the money goes towards education and making this event possible. People are not getting rich again from any of these events. Not a single Bitcoin conference are giant money makers. They're always either losses or break evens. Nobody's walking away with like another 1,000 sat or 1,000 Bitcoin. So really, I know how much effort goes into the events. They're labors of beautiful love by all the people. So definitely show up and get that going. And then obviously you've got Bitcoin Farmers Market. You guys are doing that in El Zonte and Berlin. And then you've got another one too. I know the link trees up here for you guys to check out. bitcoinforyouth.com. That's Sheila's thing. And we're going to have you guys follow any place else besides X that people should be following you. This is where you can follow Kemal at Pretty Flacco. What does this mean, Kemal? What's Pretty Flacco mean?
Pretty Flacco means the handsome, skinny guy in Spanish.
In what? In what language?
In Spanish.
In Spanish?
Flacco means skinny in Spanish. Yeah.
Flacco,
pretty is pretty, just with a little orthography mistake.
You are the beautiful skinny guy, Kemal. I love it. Shala, they can find you on X at Aza_21M, and Kiki, your Bitcoin baby. Let's go with the Y at the end. And you guys can go to X and follow Adopting BTC to make sure you guys give everybody a follow. It helps, to get the word out and cross-pollinate each other's social media so that people can start understanding what the heck is happening.
All of us is also on Noster. Just difficult to put the NPubs here.
I know the NPubs are weird.
Yeah, it's also there. And if I may just say, because other people who are helping us at least to make this Bitcoin para Niños happen, they are not here on this live session, but there is like Ian, he is also one of the speakers, Econo
Kids.
Yeah, exactly. And there are so many amazing people like helping, supporting, sending some materials, being there, volunteering. So I just wanted to, before we finish and before I forget, I just wanted to say thank you, everyone. like Kiki is putting a tremendous work, like putting a lot, but yeah, a lot of other people are also helping. So yeah, thank you.
It takes a
Awesome.
village.
It does take a giant orange village. It's pretty cool. Any final thoughts for you guys? Like I want to go around for each of you. Like for anybody who's thinking about coming or is coming, any final thoughts? I'll start with you, Kiki.
Oh boy. Be open-minded. Be open-minded, whether that's in your conversations with people, in what you see and what you expect from the country. Just come in with an open mind and an open heart, and try new things. Like you said, it's always important to put yourself a little bit out of your comfort zone. Stay aware of yourself and your surroundings and whatnot, but it's a safe place. Tons of really interesting people from all different countries, all walks of life. Just come in with an open mind and an open heart, and you are going to have a great time.
I love it. That's great. Great advice. What about you, Shala?
Yeah, I would here invite every younger members of families to come with their parents. Also, if there are some teenagers coming, maybe ask some peers, some colleagues, friends to join, because anyway, it's if I'm not mistaken, anyone who is under 18 can attend Adopting Bitcoin for free. I mean, this is incredible. So
Wow.
yes, do that, people. So yes, I want to see a lot of teenagers and kids just to hug everyone and to learn and to explore together. So yeah, hopefully it's going to happen.
Yeah, that's going to be incredible. Thank you. All right, Kemal, you got any words of wisdom for folks thinking about coming? Maybe they're on the fence or that they're already coming.
Yeah, find a nice partner, make a family, and if you've done all that, come to Adopting Bitcoin. Also, if you want to do all these things, come to Adopting Bitcoin.
I know, right?
Look, it's kids under the age of 18, free admission, right?
So
Just
cool.
wanted to highlight that. We're a special breed, Bitcoiners. We agree on. We know so much about each other already before we've met. We agree on so many things already before we've even talked, and that is a basis for the best of the relationships that you can build from that basis on. But even if you don't build anything on top of it, it's pretty fucking awesome. And it's if you think Bitcoin is something on Twitter or on Reddit or on YouTube, you have no idea until you come to Adopting Bitcoin or another Bitcoin conference that keeps it real, because there's Bitcoin conferences and Bitcoin conferences. I would like to emphasize that, right? The people at Adopting Bitcoin, it's the real builders, the real revolution, and not people who think they're super important and have something to gain by shilling their bags, right? Like Bitcoin doesn't have leaders, and the people at Adopting Bitcoin, they're humble and they're hard workers, and they're absolutely beautiful people. In my experience so far, it's been always an absolute honor to be there with these people. The connections that I've made have been amazing. And not to forget also, we've had some presentations that people still talk about today, because they have originated at Adopting Bitcoin. Not because they originate, but that's where they originated, right? There are projects, and this year is not going to be different. There's really a packed program. I hope we can come out today or tomorrow or latest Sunday with the 0.1 version of the schedule. It's going to blow people's minds out. And that's why I'm glad that we talked about all the satellite events, because, already extensively. But yeah, there's a massive program awaiting in a beautiful setting in the dry season, lush green, surf, good food, good people, sunny weather in November. And
Yeah.
anybody who needs a break from the post-election craziness going on, needs a break from US politics, I can't imagine a better place to be at. So, the future is looking really indeed bright in El Salvador. And not everything is perfect, but it's going in this direction up. And when it does that, you have this positive reinforcement, and people have a good mood, and then approach things in a playful manner. And when you have play, you have fun, and when you have fun, good things happen, and things turn out extra beautifully. And this is what's going on. And if people are curious how it looks like I think adopting Bitcoin is like really the best time to come, because it's just magnified massively.
Yeah, it is. And I love it. It does. It magnifies. And I always say, raise your vibe, rock your missions. And, being around these people, all of us, Bitcoiners in training, everyone will be a Bitcoiner one day. It does help you raise your vibe. It's like medicine for your soul. And so get your tushies down there. And if you're wondering, like, should I only stay for the length of the conference? No, stay longer, go early, stay later. You will have FOMO if you have to leave early, because you're going to say, shoot, I wish I could go here. And so if you're blessed enough to have another day, 2 days, however many days, like stay in the local areas too. You don't have to stay in the big stuff. Like go support where locals are and go get to understand like what's happening down there, because it's such a cool vibes for sure. I'm so grateful you guys came and spent all of your time and energy sharing this with us, and obviously all the energy and work you're doing to make this going to be such a cool event, educational and fun and party. It's going to be great. So I will be there in spirit, in a little cutout version of Val. So and then we're going to be doing a Bitcoin for Families virtual summit. Shala and several other companies are going to be there. We're going to be trying to, help support some other Bitcoin companies. It's, it's a value for value summit. So it's for free. We'll be doing it on December 7th. But more importantly, before that, get yourselves down to El Salvador, go to adoptingbitcoin.org and get your tickets before there's no more tickets left. Let's see. Someone else said something into the conference. Yeah. So anyway, so I love you guys. Wishing you all peace, love, and so much warm aloha. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next